Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, for years, I held an online virtual summit called the Slay Summit, which was the catalyst to The Fierce Files. So every now and then, I will share with you our most popular interviews from that summit. So listen in as I share with you one of our most requested. I got to tell you, I am excited to bring to you what I would call one of my great sister friends who puts fire under me without her even knowing it, right? She is Dr. Dee Marshall. So she is a game changer. She's a power player. She's a fire starter. She is a sought-after international speaker. She's a published author. I could go on and on. She's a certified coach. She's a TV lifestyle expert. But the thing that I think makes her so yummy, using one of her words that I stole because I say it now all the time too, is that she's a Wall Street alumni. She's a Capitol Hill Go for Woman leader. So basically what you have to know, because I can keep going, right, is that this woman really holds the space for you to stand in the full power of your courage and your conviction. So with that, welcome, Miss Dee.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. I'm excited that, I already know I have my pen out because I already know you're going to drop nuggets. So let's get going because I'm ready to learn. So listen, first share with the ladies a little bit about, you were already powerful, already had a powerful job, already had a title, and could have been doing great in that career. What made you say yes to the shift?
Purpose. That's my one more response. It was purpose and the fact that I have a desire to, and I'm going to borrow one of my famous quotes, when I stand before God at the end of my life without a single bit of talent left, I hope that I could say, God, I used all that you gave me. So purpose is the thing that made me leave corporate and six-figure salary, comfy, cozy, on September 11th, after September 11th, which was the defining moment.
I remember you telling me that story, right? And it just hit you all in the face, like, okay, wait a minute, what am I doing, right? So tell us a little bit about that moment, because here's the thing. We all have purpose rumbling in our belly, but there's a difference between the woman that says yes to it, right? Because it's scary. It's not easy to say yes to purpose, especially when you're already making six figures, right? And you don't know if on the other side you're going to make the same in the beginning, right? So what in that moment, tell us a little bit about what that felt like and how did you get to that yes?
Yeah, you know what? It was September 11th. I was a Wall Street girl working on Wall Street. I had seemingly reached success. And so that was a devastating day on Wall Street as a young little brown girl. But it was really the next morning when I woke up on September 12th, I remember the questions that showed up in my spirit. And the questions were, when you get where you're going, where will you be? When you get what you want, what will you have? And when you have all that you want, will it be worth Christ dying? So it was those.
Wait. No, Hold on. You got to say those questions slower because I can't. I'm like, these are good. I'm trying to write these down because I feel like I need to be answering them. So when you get where you're going, what was the first one?
When you get where you're going, where will you be? When you get what you want, what will you have?
I can't look. I know I can't write this fast.
Somebody just posted it in the group.
On fire.
We need everybody to tweet. Look, we need everybody to tweet, Facebook, post it in the group.
Right. Put it in the group.
Where you're
going. Right. Somebody post this in the group. Right. When you get where you're going, where will you be? And I'm sorry, what was the next one?
And when you get what you want, what will you have? And when you have all that you want, will it be worth Christ dying?
That is so good.
Girl, I was stretched out when those questions showed up. And they probably showed up in the form of a devotional or something. So it was those questions. And then I have one more for you, Nicole, and for everybody listening. Post it in your room, post it online, Facebook. You all can have it. If I died yesterday, would I have any regrets? And the reason it was, if I died yesterday, because it was September 12th. It was the day after. And I was just trying to get my arms around it, my head around, did that happen? What happened? Did something happen?
Right.
So that was really, that was really the moment. It was like, listen, God, really, what is life about? Why am I here? So that's what made me decide to step in purpose. I didn't step in right away because you said it. It's not easy, Nicole. So, but I did make a definitive decision on September 12th. So September 12th was a defining moment. I made a definitive decision. God, I want meaning and purpose for my life. So why am I here? Where am I going? That was how I got here, how I got to purpose.
That is so good. That is so good, because oftentimes we know we're so focused on who we're supposed to be, and I'm doing my little air quotes, right, when I'm saying that, because somewhere in life, all of us sign up for the supposed tos, instead of stopping long enough to realize the very way we were wired to, and I call it be the answer to a group of people that need us. And so that's so yummy. And I'm, so funny. I heard you say that somewhere, and I was like, oh, I love that. So I say yummy all the time. So all you guys in my community, and you hear Dee, I stole yummy from her. So with that said, so I got to give props because you here, right? So with that said, tell us.
But sidebar. I borrowed that. I'm sure I heard that somewhere in my life. Right. Although I have owned that for so long. I've owned like the words yummy and greatness and gorgeous for many years, and people play it back. So just so we're fair, I'm sure somebody deposited that in my spirit. So we share it. There you go.
I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. So in addition to the big paycheck, right? What did you have to really let go of to say yes to your purpose, to that rumble in your belly?
Oh my God, comfort was the first thing, and then just uncertainty. It's uncertainty, like not knowing, like, well, what does purpose look like? And and then what does that look like? And then stretching outside my comfort zone, and then taking a big risk. So I think those were the top three things that I think about. They were more like intangibles. Right. Because the obvious would be, a job and a paycheck. And again, it was a journey. It didn't happen overnight. It took me a long time to leave corporate America and to leave a paycheck because of uncertainty, because of, having to take a risk. And I'm going to say this for everybody, here at the Slay Summit, all of the guests that Nicole has, we look like we're slaying now. And yes, but we didn't start off like that. For me, insecurity. So like insecure, like not being confident. I wasn't this woman back then. Absolutely not.
Right. It's a journey. And you have to take the first step to get to the 20th step. And, it's interesting. I did a TV segment a couple months ago on a TV show, and I was in Atlanta, and a friend of mine from way back in the day, like 20 years ago, I put, when I say that, but like 20 years ago, she said, I see you in Atlanta, let's go to lunch. And I said, okay, so I'll go to lunch. To make a long story short, she goes, how long have you been doing this? All proud of me. And I said, 25 years. She said, really? I said, you thought I was going to say 2 years? Girl, bye. Right? It takes time to get to this.
Yes.
I didn't just overnight just get up and start doing this thing. It takes time. It's seed time and harvest. So I love that you said that, right? But even as your harvest starts to come in, right, even as finally you see some level of success, tell us that moment when you knew, or tell us about that moment when you knew it was time to up-level. Like now finally you're out there. You've been out in the deep, right, and you're doing great. But now God is rumbling in your belly again, dare I say, that it's time for you to do more. Tell us about that moment.
Yeah. So, I think I have a couple of instances along my career and my journey as a businesswoman where, I knew there was a next level. But I think in this most recent season of Next Level, where I rebranded my company last year, let me see, how did I know it was time? You know what it is? I think I did an exercise, and the exercise was, I know I'm successful when ... and you fill in the blanks. And so it was when I rethought my success and what success is for me. And I think we have levels of evolving of measures of success, right? Early on in business, it was to make money, right? That was way back when. Right. But then at this current level, you're already making money and you're already, I'm speaking around the globe. Last year I did 35 speaking engagements. The year before it was 25. And so I was doing this exercise. I know I'm successful when, and I started to fill in the answers, and it was, they were just so different, and it was more about experience of life. And so I think that was one of my most recent instances where I knew it was time to up-level, because it was no longer about the money. It was about the life and the experience I wanted to have and who else I wanted to serve. And so it was that exercise. And then as a result of that exercise, I just thought all of the business and the things that I was doing last year. This was 2017. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to get it right there. Like, this is not going to get it. And just as a sidestep, my business had been for years largely 80% business to consumer and 20% business to business. And we were already working on not just growing, because we had already grown, but we were working on scaling. That's two different things. So already working on scaling. But when I listed I know I'm successful when, I can wake up and ask myself the question, what do I want to do today? That's a different level. That's you playing a whole another game. So anyway, as a result, I rebranded the company. We had already shifted in terms of 80% of our business is B2B, and then the 20% is B2C. So it was really just getting clear about the life that I want to live, redefining success for myself, and then I redefined or re-strategized my business and my company.
And for the ladies that might be with us that may not know the difference, because I was like, yeah, but I'm sitting there acting like I'm a listener. I'm supposed to have my Oprah on interviewing. Tell them what you mean by scaling up your business.
So scaling in terms of capacity and not just and revenue, and capacity and revenue is how I define it, versus growth is, you're growing. You might add an office or a space. You might add people, and resources. Yeah, I think that's how the major distinction, because growing, I've grown some years ago in terms of the size of my team, in terms of office. I've had office, and then we've had multiple offices. That's growth. That's not necessarily scaling. And we were doing both, but then there's a whole nother level of scaling. And so that was the shift last year, which is why I invested in a heavy rebrand. My company now is Diverse and Engage LLC. So we're now fully rebranded. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, what did I miss that announcement, right? But good for you. That's great. Now, tell the ladies, just listening to, the things that I think is interesting with all of our guests that are on the Slay Summit is that you get to this place that you don't settle for mediocre, because you could have been fine with where your business was. You could have just left it like it was, right? But what was that little inkling, in addition to you saying, I'm not successful when, because, and here's what I want you guys to get that are listening. If you're already successful, you ask yourself that, you're not relying on your current bio. That bio's done. You've already done that.
Yes.
So I love the question you asked yourself, because you were looking for your next level of success. And so many people don't commit to lifelong growth. So how did that seed get planted in you? Have you always been that girl ever since you were little? That was just someone that was committed to growth?
You know what? I have always had this measure of measuring progress year over year, that wherever I am this year, my hope and my intention that I wouldn't be the same place next year. In other words, and I'll just rewind, where I was and who I was in 2017, it's always my hope that, in 2018, that there should be progress and growth, and not just in business, but me as an individual. So even if people hear me on this call, and maybe you knew me when, you say, oh, she sounds really different, or maybe she's grown, that's my intention. So I have always had that from a personal perspective, like personal mastery has already been, I've always been wired that way. But the reason reason it showed up in business, because, Nicole, every year we do business plans, or if you follow the 12-week year, you might do it every 12 weeks. And so I was just really looking to answer the question that God asked. Like he allows me to answer the question in terms of the desire of my heart. So I'm like, okay, well, what would make 2016 a really awesome year? And I'm like, well, I did that, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here. Oh, wow, I'm going to need to stretch. So I think that was part of it, that I've always been that girl, even when I wasn't a business owner. And it was for myself as a person. And then as a business, it's like, okay, now what would make 2016, 2017 just a huge, massive win? And that was the question.
And I got to say, that's why you were successful on Wall Street. That's why, because that D was there. And you didn't shift that part of you, but you grew it in another, it's like you grew another muscle to become an entrepreneur. What most people don't realize is, dare I say this, there's no place you can go and learn entrepreneurship. Sure, you can go learn business development, you can learn budgeting, you can learn all the things around it, but there's not one place with all the things that I know now as a CEO. If I wouldn't have known then what I know now, oh, Lord, my business would have been successful sooner, quicker, faster, right? But there's so much other things, and along the way, every time, every new level, you've got to learn that next. So I love that you said you've always been that girl, and that's so yummy, dare I say. So if you had to give the ladies 3 steps, 3 actionable things that they know or to help lead them into their more, when you were at that crossroad, the time that it might have been scary, you didn't feel good, that more? If you had to give them 3 actionable steps, as many of them are in that place right now, what would those 3 steps be?
Yeah, so one step, and this is just straight business. Is this a business question? Because I think,
or it could be personal. Well, here's the thing, you know that you bring yourself into your business. So in my opinion, when you answer it in a personal way, you're answering in a business way too. So So I think they already receive it's asking yourself the question. So I won't give you that because that's going to waste one of my 3. But I'm going to be real about business. Because I think a lot of women, we play the personality, the lifestyle business card, where we just design businesses around lifestyle. We don't think about the money. So I'm going to, and I had to learn that. That was a tough lesson for me. So I'm going to say, number 1, make 10 calls every day. That's to make money. Okay? I'm sorry. You already got all of the soft stuff. You got the core. So I'm switching, not switching, but it requires all of this. It requires, who you are to show up, but it also requires a business savvy. And the reason why I believe we win now, my company, is because Dee Marshall, in fact, her name is Charlie Marsh, which is the CEO in me that runs the company. We nicknamed the alter ego. Her name is Charlie Marsh. Charlie Marsh, do you understand? She is a businesswoman. So number 1, make 10 calls every day. And you know what? I'm not even going to qualify it, because I've said whether you're in a service-based business, whether you're in products, or whether you're a stylist, I have let Facebook have it. Like, where are the stylists? You all aren't making sales calls because y'all should be looking. I should get a call. Why? You see, I posted on my page. I'm speaking somewhere. And I don't want to style myself. So it doesn't even matter what business. I said, listen, you all see this flyer here with the Essence people. Y'all should be calling Nicole Roberts-Jones. Call Kamika. She's on the flyer. Call Dee Marshall. Am I not on y'all list? So make 10 calls every day. And I'm telling you, that's just straight up business. And it's true, because no matter what it is, whether it's a follow-up from someone you met, whether it's a cold call, whether it's a follow-through. I mean, if you're going to begin a business, especially at the beginning, over time, you bring team in that can help you with those calls, but it doesn't take away the fact that I still have to make calls myself.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I would just say, get in over your head, meaning, so this is specific. So specifically, get out and network, like identify one event or activity every week. Some people would say, Dee, that's too much. Okay, start with 2. But how I got here and the visibility, if I rewound 5 years, 7 years ago, it was because I would always show up. So my social equity, social capital, I have so much in terms of social equity, social capital. This is a sidebar. How I got that television show years ago, with Mickey Taylor on TV One, it was because I think I showed up, I was networking, and then, I was writing a monthly article or something. And so showing up, developing relationships is huge in business. We were talking about this yesterday in the corporate sector. And, even with some of my clients, it's a lot of this stuff, business and access and opportunity is relationships. So that's a specific. Are you showing up, networking at once a week, maybe twice a month? And certainly I will say there came a time when I stopped because I'm full. I'm good. No, I'm not going to that event, and I don't need to be there. And if you invite me, the chances are, I'm going to be very honest, unless I have a role, this is no ego, but my calendar doesn't really allow for me to show up at your event.
Well,
so for those of you
you have to really look at and guard your energy, because as much as you're traveling and out working, when you're at home or even when you're on the road, you get to pick and choose at this juncture in your career, not because you're trying to be like, I'm better than that. It's like, well, I need to rest today. I need to save my own time for me. Right.
That's right. You're right. Energy. And then, and we evolve in that. But I started out showing up, and that's why it's easy. I've got people on my cell phone because I showed up for them. And so that's how. The third thing I would say very specifically is building your team. And here's what I mean by the team. Because, and you said it, Nicole, there is so much to do in business. So even when people ask us this on the fly, I know you get this all the time, Nicole. It's like there's so much, so build a team. Here's what the team looks like. What helped me get out of my own way? It was a coach. I hired a coach. Now, y'all can do what you want. You can judge if you want. You can say what you want. If you ask me, how did I get here? There was so much I didn't know. There was so much that I couldn't see in my blind spot. So I hired a coach. I was struggling before I hired a coach. So when I say team, the first might be the coach. If you say you can't invest, all I'm going to say is when people say that to me and I'm looking at you with this lash extension and the handbag and the hair and the shoes, I'm not convinced. I've checked out of the conversation because it's a matter of what you're willing to do. Everybody right now on social, #willing. Tell them we're at the Fierce Factor Lab. It's called Slay Summit, okay? Okay. Yep, I said okay. It's not a word. And not only that, I always say you got to invest at the level to which you want to see the return. So if you want to invest in lashes and a handbag, what's the return on that? Other than you look cute for the day, right? And and you might be fabulous in social media, but you could be Facebook famous and broke. How do you move that to a client? So you've got to really, I love that you said that. And when people say that to me, I say all the time, girl, if they have a handbag, expensive handbag on their arm, I say, how did you pay for that? So the amount you pay for that bag, it could be a coach. You realize that. That's right.
Or at least a month.
So, and I'll give you, that's right. And I love that you say on the level that you're on, because when I say team, and the reason I said team and not coach, I'm giving you examples. So when I say get yourself a team, so the first would be a coach if you could do it, because that's what I did. And I'm going to give you this one thing. People ask me all the time, Dee, what do you think about this coach? I'll just say, just make sure they have a coach. Like, that's how you should hire a coach. If they don't have a coach, then I'm not sure that they are for you. If they're part-time, do you want somebody investing in you part-time? Now, certainly there was a time when I was there, but you're asking. And then lastly, it's great if they're 5-7 levels ahead of you and there's some social proof, right? So that's one example of somebody on your team. If you can't afford that, a mastermind, invest in a mastermind or build your own mastermind. I'm going to give you one that's really inexpensive. In fact, it's not going to cost you anything in terms of building your team. This is option 3 in building a team. Form an advisory board. An advisory board. And this shouldn't be a coach, because coaches, that's their business. So don't ask a coach to be on your advisory board, or don't ask them to do for free. Don't do that. But identify 3 to 5, and 3 is a good number to start. Build an advisory board, and that way they can help hold you accountable. You can use them as a sounding board until you are able to afford somebody else. And so those are my 3. I mean, there's so much to do. That's why I always say the team, because you know why? There's so much to do. It's a lot. And you know what? And you'll get weak and weary, and it takes a lot. There'll be tough moments. But when I tell you, everybody come in close, everybody who's listening, come in close, lean in. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It is so much work, but it is so worth it.
This journey, Nicole Roberts-Jones, come on. Is this not fun stuff what we get to do?
Love it. You get to do what you want, when you want, how you want. And you got to
write your own check. Write your check. You get to write your check. Because let me tell you something. That corporate, however much they're paying you or offering you, they cannot pay you more than you can pay yourself if you step out. I had a client once who got an offer from American Express, and she thought, baby, this is the winning ticket. And I said, no, it's not, because you have a consulting practice, and you are of high value, and you could write your own check. So that mid-six-figure salary, do you know how much more you are worth if you continue going?
Hello.
And so I'm going to pause right here. Thank you, Nicole Roberts-Jones. Go ahead.
And Dee, you just dropped some good knowledge, literally. And here's one thing I want to add to what you said. So even with the advisory board, you guys have to be mindful, most of you, all of us, that have an advisory board. Some of you guys might call them mentors, whatever you might call it, right? I want you to understand the difference. If these are busy, successful women and you're not in a contractual relationship, meaning with a coach, it's a contract. So, every other week or once a month or whatever you decide at this certain time, we're going to talk. When you have an advisory board, the busier they are, dare I say, the less time they will have for you. Not to say they don't love you, but you're going to have to get in where you can fit in. Meaning that
and
you're
it's
not going to
quarterly.
have every other week. Right.
Understand
the difference.
You should say that, Nicole. It's not, so with that advisory board, that's a quarterly ask. Do not ask anybody to be on your advisory board once a month, because that's a coach. That's what that is. So that's a distinction, but we give it to you. That's right. That's right.
I mean, the number of people that come up to me at events when I'm speaking ask me to be their mentor, and I have to be honest with them. What you need is, ask them what they're looking for, and I say, what you just described is a coach. And I'm happy to be your coach.
Right.
Let me tell you what that looks like. So understand the difference, and understand, too, I love that you said this, I want you to be clear on what you need and don't compromise it.
We're going to stop here and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for more. Ladies, do you have your ticket to the 2018 Be the Answer 2-day intensive? Well, this is my invitation for you to join me in Boston for an event filled with other women just like you on a mission for more. Now, your more could be to get clear on how your intellectual property can and should produce your paycheck. Or maybe your more is to start your business alongside your big corporate job. Or your more could be to generate multiple streams of income in your current business, or anything in between. You need to be in the room. Log on to BeTheAnswerEvent.com to learn more and register. Now listen, it's me and you for 2 days, where I give you the step-by-step action you need to move your business into real profit right now. Be the Answer is an event where I give you the tools you need to create and sustain a business that you're passionate about, all while showing you how to generate multiple streams of income. I can't wait to see you there.
So with all of that said, you have given us so much. Let me walk through. Look, I've been taking notes, right?
Wait, but can I do a shameless plug? I'm sorry. I do a shameless plug? I'm sorry. Here's why I would register for Be the Answer. I'm going to tell you all. Well, first of all, I love that that you are making yourself available, right? Because so many people can say far before we came through the ranks, even though we had some access on the back end, but we didn't have this. So if people are looking at where I am and Nicole, where we are, and even if you're here, if I invited you, this was where there was the divide, because I was the person hitting the button. If I were you, I was hitting the button to register to be with Nicole. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. Like, this was what I did way back when I was so hungry and I wanted to be in a community. So that's number one. The second thing is, I'm salivating when she says it's only 50. I'm going to tell you all why. Conferences motivate, but training and coaching elevates. She says she's going to coach you. So when it's only 50, I'm going to tell you all should register whenever there's a room of a few. And that's my team says, do you know you're classic for a room of a few? Because that's either an influencer room or it's a room where you're really going to grow. So just because she said it's a small and intimate, I would go for that reason. I would also go because I know I'm going to get dedicated time for her. I'm going to tell you all the other reasons why you want to register for Nicole Roberts-Jones. She and I were in a community before. So what you're getting is you're borrowing her 10,000 hours. She knows stuff. I have told people, ask Nicole,
Nicole Roberts-Jones, ask her, because she knows all the stuff. Because you know why? We come out of a similar mastermind. So she has, remember when I said, get a coach or somebody to teach you who either has a coach, had a coach, or is levels ahead. And so that's Nicole. So if I were you all, I would register right away. And that's all I wanted to say. And also because if you all have asked me about a coach, I'm here with Nicole. You know why? Nicole is my friend. She's my business buddy. We're sister girlfriends. She has my cell number. So that's why I'm here. It used to be that I would show up for you all if y'all did a telesummit. I'm going to tell you right now, if you emailed me, I love y'all. You have to get through the gatekeepers. There's a lot of handlers, and the schedule doesn't permit. But I came because I love and respect her. So I'm saying, not that y'all needed my endorsement. That's not what this is about. She invited me here to serve you, right? She's making us work. Look, she called all
and let me say this, Dee, I appreciate you for saying all that, too. And I'll be honest with you guys. You know, the reason why I wanted to do the Slay Summit, the reason why I even do Be the Answer, I'll be quite honest with you, and Dee knows this because we've talked about this. I've been to so many conferences, and I had to piecemeal information together. I had to take a little bit from this speaker and a little bit from that speaker, and when you go to conferences and you have 10 speakers at a conference, the information never goes together, by the way. So you got to figure out, okay, was her first sentence go with this other woman's third paragraph, and how do I then make this whole step-by-step process? And so because it took me too long to figure out how to take piecemeal all this information, and I'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches and conferences so that you don't have to. So thank you for saying that, Dee. I appreciate you. And literally, the reason we do this, and my team gets mad every year that I say 50, I want you to know, because we end up turning people away. But it's because I'm more committed to your breakthrough than I am to everybody else's need to double a number. So with that, let's end with this, Miss Dee. And you've given so much. So I'm going to walk through the notes because let me tell you, I take notes too because I'm here as a student too, right? So the first thing is she went through the 4 questions. Let me make sure my answers are right? And these were so good on September 12th, the day after, right? When you get where you're going, where will you be? Where will you be? When you get what you want, what will you have? When you have all that you want, will it be worth Christ's sacrifice? Woo! That right there just gave me chills, right? And then if you died yesterday, remember yesterday for her was September 11th, but for you, you know what your yesterday was. Because some of you guys have had this baby in you. See, when God plants something in your spirit, I call it you being pregnant with your purpose. So some of you have a dead baby in you because it should have been pushed out a long time ago, right? So if you died yesterday, would you have any regrets? And there's a quote that says, and I don't know where it came from. Steve Harvey said this actually at Act Like a Success. I don't know if he made this up or if he got it from somebody, to be quite honest with you. But it's 95% of people die having only used 5% of their gifts and talents. And when you said that, Dee, if you died yesterday, would you have any regrets? It made me think of that. And I don't want you guys to be in the 5%. So with that said, Dee, can you share with us I'm trying to think which one of these, because all 4 of these questions I could ask her at the end will be yummy answers, I know. What is the best business advice you have ever received?
Wow. I've received so much advice from so many gems. I think I'm going to go with, follow your purpose. Follow your purpose and your passion, because business is so, it's challenging, it's worth it. But if it is what you are called to do, created to do, you are going to win. You will be successful if it is what God has called you to do. Err on the side of doing what He called you to do, and all things will be well. The business will be successful. And that's all I have to say about that.
And she's dropping the mic. So, Dee, and she's notorious for dropping the mic. Look, my name is Dee Marshall, and I approve this message, right? So, Dee, thank you for pouring in and sharing your story and sharing your journey. And thank you for saying yes to your purpose, because had you not said that, our paths would have never crossed, and I know my life is better because I know you. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome, gorgeous. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the top. See you at the top. I mean it. Yes.
Love you, girl.
Love you more. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all 3 of these questions. Number 1, what was your greatest takeaway?
Number 2, what will you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number 3, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do different? Or number 3, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.